Kelly and Billy in Jersey Village, they have a foundation question.
Yeah, they want to add on to this 1970s home, Tom, and that foundation. Kelly and Billy ask us, must we remove the exterior brick wall to fill the old brick ledge and confirm consistent floor elevation height from our July 2021 pour? Or can we leave the exterior brick wall, pour, close in, then remove the bricks and pour concrete in the old brick ledge channel? We want one seamless foundation while keeping the home closed in while we're doing the project. What say you, Tom?
Well, I think you're kind of in a pickle here. The way to do it would have been to cut the brick out and get rid of the brick, because now you got all this forms, all these trenches dug, you have the plastic down. Obviously, you can see you got the plumbing in. I don't know if your foundation on the outside and the inside, because they're not always exactly the same, are going to be perfectly level. And if you get a little bit of even a half an inch difference, it's going to be a problem, because you're going to have to float out the whole floor. You'll always notice it when you walk over it. So at least a section should be taken out on both ends of the forms to make sure it's right. But that's the best way to screed the concrete when you pour the new one, is right up onto the old one, so it all is a seamless, same level floor. Now the problem here is, if you start to take the brick out now, you're going to destroy all that work that you've done and you're in the middle of doing, because it's going to get just damaged by all that brick falling and being hauled away with wheelbarrows and things like that. And afterwards, if you pour now, and even if it's right, you still got to pull the brick down, and it's going to damage the concrete and damage the floor. If you put walls and stuff up, you're going to have all these wheelbarrows and stuff trying to go through there. So it's always best to cut the brick out and do the demolition work first. Now, you don't have to cut through the whole house, because behind brick, and a lot of people don't realize it, that's not the wall. You have wall sheathing, and if there's not any sheathing on there and if you're concerned, you can put up some temporary plywood as sheathing. That's fine. And then you have the cavity of the studs, and then of course you'll have the sheetrock on the inside. So on the inside you won't be bothered. It's just on the outside that demo should have been done with the brick. So right now, I think where you're at, I would do this. I would make sure I cut out the brick on both ends of that addition to make sure that the form boards are exactly the same height, and then they can shoot with a transit all the way around to make sure that form is level and at the same height as the inside of the house. Just make sure that's done, and that might mean just taking out a small section of brick to make sure it's level that way, because you don't know about the brick ledge if it's exact, especially on the older homes. They could have used a different type of material or a board that was damaged. There's a lot of different things that can make that little bit of difference a real problem. Now, once that's done, you pour your concrete, then I would lay down a whole bunch of old plywood. I know wood isn't as expensive as it was 4 months ago, so I'm not worried about that. And you can reuse that plywood as roof decking or sheathing, because it shouldn't get damaged. It'll just get a little ugly, which is fine. And that's why we always made nice form boards, and then when they were done with it, we used to use them in the rafters, because they were still good lumber. They just had some concrete dust on them. Anyway, put the plywood down to protect the new concrete when you take the brick down, and have those wheelbarrows and stuff take it down. But don't wall the thing up until all the brick is cut and removed.
Yeah, this seems to me, Tom, a classic case of not things that don't start right, seldom finish right.
That's funny you say that. I had this old builder I worked with. His name was Brad. He's no longer with us. He was one of my mentors. And he always said, Tom, there's an old rule in the business. He goes way back to old school. If you put the foundation in right, the project goes well. You start that foundation wrong, and he said he's been on a lot of them, and he's had to fix things, but it never goes smooth after that. It was like the zen of building, and he was quite experienced. The other thing is, what this seems like to me, Charlie, is the fact that whoever is doing this is not an experienced room addition person. It might be someone who's done patios, or he's a framer, or someone who has been involved in projects but doesn't understand the entire scope. And that's why we have a certified Home Show Pro trifection that they're experts in room additions. This would have been something they never would have allowed anybody to start and do. That's the difference of getting the right people and the wrong people, because you end up doing things and people aren't sure about, should I do this, should I do that, what if I do this? Those things should not be brought up once you start a project. Somebody has got to lead, just like in the Army or anything else. You have to have a leader, and I don't think this project does.
And that's why Tom's the leader in home improvements. And you can get him to help you with your project. Go click on Ask Tom right there at HomeShowRadio.com. Take you to this page. You can fill out a form. You can send us a video, and then we'll answer it. Right. And as you can see, we take pictures too. We love to get pictures like we got from Kelly and Billy there, because it helps us know what's going on with your project, and then we can help you out. And we will post a new one every day at HomeShowRadio.com. When you get the questions, we'll post them at our website there and our Facebook page, Home Show Radio Facebook page, and of course our YouTube channel.